Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
We're being good boys on our midwinter break and pulling a dead man's wire for Arco on Project Hail Mary. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Adam Ball, and this is Off Screen, your 7-day guide to everything movies.
Boom!
Groovy.
Hello and welcome back to this week's Off Screen. Now we've got to just quickly talk about the Oscars that have taken place between now and last time we were here. We were just chatting off air, Van. You pretty much guessed about 3/4 of who was going to win what.
It was about 3/4. I think I missed on some of the technical categories. There were one or two. I'll be really honest, I had Train Dreams for cinematography. That was one I thought would win, because I actually watched Train Dreams every year on Oscar Sunday or Oscar weekend. Every film critic just has that one that they've just not gotten around to yet. And it's nearly always the worst possible one. Last year I had Emilia Perez, and that was just bum-numbing and brain-draining. This year I had Train Dreams, and I really loved it. I thought that was a fantastic film. Where was that hiding? I'd met Felicity Jones as well. I went to one of Kermit's. I'd met Felicity Jones talking about that movie, and I hadn't seen it. And it's so good. Highly recommend that. If you want an interesting sort of character piece, check out Train Dreams. But yeah, 3/4 roughly. I think there were 4 categories I didn't pick anyone for. So there were 24 categories. I didn't pick 4 of them. Like the shorts, I never picked for the shorts. I will make the effort next year. I know I say this every year. So that only leaves 20, and I got 15 out of the 20. Obviously, I didn't predict Michael B. Jordan winning Best Actor. I had Timmy. But I guess Timmy is the new Leo. I guess that's what we're doing now. It's gonna be like, when will he get his Oscar? Like we did with Leonardo once upon a time. Remember, every year Leo would be nominated for an Oscar. We'd be like, this will be the year.
We'll be saying it in 10 years. Tim Chalamet still hasn't got it.
yeah, that's gonna be it. He's gonna need to work his way through more Kardashians before then. That's gonna be what it is.
Right, well, let's start as we always do this week then and have a quick look at the UK and Ireland current top 10. And I know there's one in here in particular that Van's looking forward to talking about because he's actually seen it now. We won't give anything away on that one, but at number 10, The Secret Agent. 4 weeks now that's been out, 1.1 million.
I just want to take a moment to celebrate that with the completion of the film you are, referencing or acknowledging sort of slyly, I have actually finally seen the complete box office top 10 for a change this week.
You have?
How often does it happen? It's getting rarer, isn't it? So number 10, The Secret Agent, which I liked. I just thought it was a bit drawn out, and I think it kind of worked against itself. It's a very slow burn movie. Wagner Moore is very good in it, as evidenced by having been nominated for Best Actor. Obviously didn't win. It was a great presence at the Oscars, that has to be said. I quite like the film. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, if I'm honest.
Number 9, The Bride. That's been out for 2 weeks now. Pretty similar to The Secret Agent. It's on 1.2 million.
Do you know what? This is going to find its audience at home. Very simply. Like I think I said when we reviewed this is the movie that the bipolar alt girl in your life is going to make her whole personality about for a long time. And also will be the cosplay fixture of this Halloween and like every con coming up. Like it's going to be like young girls with the ink spot like on the cheek and the disheveled Bride of Frankenstein makeup. Which I think... There's some good stuff in it, but I think it's outweighed by the bad. I found it too sort of babbly, shouty, incoherent. And that took me out of it. Too many scenes. It's too overcooked for what it needs to be. There's too much in there. It doesn't need this ridiculous plot, this possession kind of plot thing that they put in there. But other than that, the Bride of Frankenstein as Bonnie and Clyde, with Christian Bale and Jessie Buckley, no less, I'm there for that. It's just, you didn't need to then just drag that down with everything else. And I think the result is something really mixed that... I watched it once, and like I said about Secret Agent, I'll never revisit, to be honest.
Number 8 this week, I can hand on heart say I don't know a single person who's gone to see this, but it's doing all right. Elvis Presley in concert. It's been out for 3 weeks, and that's sitting at 3.3 million now.
It's a very good concert. It is a very good time. I sat there for, I think it's an hour and 45 or something. It's not overly long, might be even shorter, and just watched this really fun, restored to literally present day cinematography kind of level Elvis concert, intercut with a quite revealing and interesting interview that he did that I think had never been published to date, and I think showed me a very different and a slightly more vulnerable side of Elvis Presley. It would be nice if just one day we actually got one of these interviews that showed the other side of Elvis. You know, the one that decidedly isn't vulnerable. You know the one I'm referring to? Like, that interview's got to exist somewhere. I mean, Sean Connery did one. Elvis had to have done one. You know what I mean? But I imagine the sort of showcase of this is still getting bums on seats. It's not going to be a big Saturday night crowd pleaser, but I would imagine it's earning a lot of the Grey Pound, for instance.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's at number 8. At number 7 this week, Goat. That's been out 5 weeks now. 12.6 million.
Didn't rate it. Thought it was a really unappealing animated effort. They'd sort of gone out their way to sort of ramshackle in a few hacks to sort of dupe you into thinking it was part of the K-pop Spider-Verse kind of animated realm. The story isn't interesting. The characters are annoying. The animation is quite aesthetically hideous, I think. And I'd say I just wasn't entertained by a single solitary minute of it. But it seems to be making some money somewhere, and I have to imagine that is with kids. So, obviously this clearly was not aimed at me or aimed at parents. This was just clearly aimed squarely at the children. I would have thought it would be slightly too dull for them. But, evidently I was wrong.
Like you said to me, the kid effect, 12 million, it's not surprising because you rarely take one child to see it. You take 2 or 3, don't you?
When was the last time you took just your son to the cinema? You know what I mean? If you're taking your son to the cinema, odds are you're taking one of his cousins, you're taking your partner's child, you're taking your friend's child. Usually you go as a group because it's sort of it's a thing that parents do, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that explains the 12 million, I suppose. Here it is then. The movie you've finally seen at number 6, sitting on £7.1 million, is Scream 7.
And it is hilariously bad.
I knew you were going to say that.
I was cackling with laughter through this. I mean, first of all, it's predictable as toffee. I mean, it's another one of the Scream movies that has seemingly given up on the idea that the Scream movies are horror movies.
Yeah.
And then they just sort of become... So all the slasher death scenes in this one, for instance, are basically like action movie set pieces with an unfortunate ending. You know what I mean? They're more like that than they are slasher kill scenes. There's no horror to them. There's no shock to this. There's no jump scares. There's nothing like that. And you do find yourself looking at it thinking, my God, we have strayed so far from the original remit of this in 3 decades. Which, fair enough, 3 decades. But it has nothing to say, despite the fact that it keeps trying to tell you things. I mean, there's a point at which they endlessly go on about, oh, this is all about nostalgia. And you're like, is it? Is it about nostalgia? Because your actual text that's on the screen seems to be the writers of the movie lashing out at Nev Campbell for skipping the last one. Like, they reference it over and over. You didn't do the last one. Oh, you weren't in New York. Oh, it's not a proper Ghostface spree if you're not there. And that's in the plot.
Ooh,
like,
that's
in
weird.
the plot, yeah. And the funniest thing about that is, she turned it down because they weren't paying her enough. She's only back because they sacked the incumbent lead actress for supporting Palestine on Instagram. So,
right.
This is an incredibly cynical exercise from the jump, and the actual product of the film, which really sinks this back into what I would say is kind of Scream 3 level trash, doesn't help matters. The new coming cast they're kind of just meh. There's lots of plot stuff in there that just makes absolutely no sense. They try to go down this route of is Matthew Lillard's character alive? And you're thinking, do you know what? At this stage, I hope he is, because it might actually tip this over into the full-blown farcical soap opera that you're pushing it toward. And yeah, not a fan. I genuinely hope there isn't a Scream 8, even though, who are we kidding? There probably will be.
Well, Scream 7 seems to have lost its identity, but it's sitting on 7 million at the moment. At number 5, Wuthering Heights, or a version of 5 weeks.
Version of,
yeah, exactly. 24 million. I mean, that's not surprising, though, because everyone thinks, it's the Wuthering Heights even.
I mean, it is withering to some people. It has to be said. Some people who saw it did find it withering. I mean, I wasn't among them. I thought, actually, I'm on board with this. Yeah, it is. Do you know what it felt like to me? It felt like when I was a kid. And obviously, think of the age I am, right? When I'm telling this story, I am thinking about like 91 to 92. Like when you were a kid and you would see the highly eroticized Madonna music videos that they used to make around then. You remember the time when they were gothy as hell and OTT eroticized? That's basically Wuthering Heights, only the music's provided by Charlie XCX and Barbie's on screen with Frankenstein. That's it. You know what I mean? That's the difference here.
That needs to be the synopsis, I think. That's brilliant. Perfectly put.
And I'm a fan. I'm down for it. I mean, I've got the awards. I've got a digital copy to watch. I'll watch it again, to be honest, at some point.
At number 4, Mother's Pride. I still haven't Googled if that was a loaf of bread in the 80s. I'm sure it was. 2 weeks out, 2 million.
2 million. Do you know what? I mean, I think I had this conversation with someone recently about someone asked me what the hell is Mother's Pride. And I was like, oh, okay, it's this. And as soon as I made the comparison of, look, it's like Fisherman's Friends with craft beer, they're like, okay, cool. I mean, you're like, oh, okay, because that movie does have its fans. Because obviously Fisherman's Friends came to prominence through, I think it's Britain's Got Talent. The true story was they got found on Britain's Got Talent. And then obviously they made the movie about it. So that movie has its fans. And the idea that there is a sort of sidequel or kind of a similar pitch, sister movie in Mother's Pride with James Buckley and Martin Clunes and Josie Lawrence, people like that. I think there is an audience out there for it, and I would say again, if you like Fisherman's Friends, seek this out. You won't be disappointed.
Number 3 this week, How to Make a Killing. Again, that's a 2-weeker. That's only on £884,000.
But it's fun, though. I mean, it's not as silly or as nasty as it needs to be like a proper banger, but I liked it. I mean, this is one, actually, I am looking forward to seeing back, just because, actually, I think there was a lot of fun in the Glenn Powell performance. It's sapped away a little bit by Margaret Qualley sucking, like she normally does, but beyond that, I thought, yeah, quite cool. And obviously, it's a remake of a movie that I didn't realise it was, and halfway through I'm thinking, this all seems really familiar, and then you sort of find out it's based on Kind Hearts and Coronets. But yeah, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I really liked it.
At number 2, one that I think I remember you not being too keen on, Reminders of Him. It's been out a week, £1 million.
No, I did like this.
You liked this one?
I like this one despite the fact that it's rubbish. Right? Okay.
So sort of
really,
right.
Yeah, so you were sort of right. I like this one despite the fact that it's rubbish. So this is the new Colin Hoover adaptation. Remember, It Ends With Us Regretting You, Colin Hoover. This is the 3rd adaptation. And this one is absolutely contrived, convoluted nonsense. But it weirdly had to be put out in time for Mother's Day because it is kind of a mom movie. This is the one that's like aimed at older millennial women because like they use the Coldplay song "Yellow" as its sort of love song.
Yeah.
But the chemistry between like Micah Monroe and Tyreek Withers. There's your Withers this week, Withering. Tyreek Withers. The chemistry between them that kind of makes it worthwhile, and I went along with it. I wasn't bored at any point, and even when it got particularly contrived, I was just chuckling to myself, thinking, "Good God, this is ludicrous." But you two are so charming and hot together. Keep me entertained. It was kind of like that.
Number 1 this week is the movie that all the kids are probably going to be wanting to go and see during the Easter holidays. Hoppers. It's been out 2 weeks. £7 million.
Pixar does Avatar with beavers. I mean, what more do you need? I mean, right there in that synopsis. Pixar, okay, sold. Avatar, okay, most people are sold. I'm not particularly. With beavers, that's just silly enough that I have to hear it. I have to see it. And, it absolutely delivers. This is not vintage Pixar. This is not like classical, like, Finding Nemo, Monsters, Inc. level Pixar. But this is certainly like, peak in the 2010s Pixar.
It'd be better with killer beavers, though, wouldn't it?
I mean, every movie would be better with killer beavers. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, the horror movie Zombievers. Have you ever seen Zombievers? This is about zombie beavers. This isn't just trash horror movie. I'll find you a copy of Zombievers. We'll get you sorted out, son. Don't you worry.
I thought I'd heard it all with Cocaine Bear, but it just gets worse. Right. Okay, so that is the UK and Ireland box office top 10 for this week. Movies we're going to dive into in a moment. Midwinter Break, and we're going to see what Dan? I didn't even know why I called you Dan or Dad then. We're going to see what
I thought you were calling me Dad. If I'm honest, I thought you were calling me Dad.
It's because I was reading Dead and about to say Van at the same time. So it didn't work very well. But we're going to see what Van thought to Dead Man's Wire. Next, stay there if I'm still alive.
The Lincoln Spring Sales event is on now, and there's never been a better time to experience the feeling of driving a Lincoln. Pictures, sunlight through the available panoramic vista roof, music, weather, and maps on the 48-inch panoramic display, and a drive so smooth that inspiration rides up front. Stepping out better than you got in. That's the Lincoln feeling. Get behind the wheel of the 2026 Lincoln Nautilus SUV and discover exceptional offers only at your local Lincoln retailer.
Don't chew on that, Max.
Cooper loves that chew too.
Oh, now he's into Cooper's food. Wow, he is loving it. What do you feed Cooper?
Blue Buffalo Life Protection Formula. He never leaves a crumb. I love it because it's made with high-quality protein, nutrient-rich fruits and veggies, and wholesome whole grains.
Looks like we're switching to Blue.
Blue Buffalo foods are made with the superior ingredients your dog needs to thrive. Can your dog food say that? Visit feedbluefood.com to learn more.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen. Right then, we're going to look at Arco and Project Hail Mary shortly. Midwinter Break is next, but let's dive into Dead Man's Wire with Van. Now, this is kind of a dark comedy set in the 70s, from what I can make out.
It's based on a true story, so it's based on the 1977, not 97, sorry, 1977 hostage situation. In which a mortgage company executive was taken hostage by a disgruntled customer named Tony Karitsis. And he's played for the screen by Bill Skarsgård. The executive is played by, and I don't know which character he played before anyone asks, and I'm sure if you care, you probably know, Dacre Montgomery from Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one who I think becomes a lifeguard. I don't know Stranger Things anyway. There you go, kids. That's my pop cultural reference for you. So he takes Dacre Montgomery hostage. All he wants is the mortgage company to apologize for rinsing him out of his land, to give him back the money they fleeced out of him, and give him the business that he went to them for in the first place. However, this hostage situation, bear in mind this is 1977, quickly spirals, and the revolution will be televised. Let's just say that. Have a listen. This is the pair getting to know one another with a few telephone interruptions.
You and your dad and that godforsaken mortgage company deter those renters. I know it.
Hello, Tony. This is Chief Gallagher.
1 second, pal. You're going to want to listen to this. You think you can milk me of interest and then just hang me out to dry?
Tony, Dad offered to buy you.
Exactly! He knew I was on to something. Staking that land, providing services and groceries for those y'all normally wouldn't take 2 seconds to pay mind to. Power's in leasing, not selling for a loss. I don't need to explain that to you. There's power in this world, equity. But you couldn't let the little car get open, could you?
I obviously don't know the story because I don't know the truth part of it, and I don't even know what this is necessarily about or where the way it goes. But does it have a bit of action in it, or is it all about phone calls and, you know?
No. There is a lot of movement to this, and it's actually one of those stranger than fiction stories. You actually can't quite believe, because I didn't know the story until obviously seeing the movie. And as you're watching all of this unfold, you do find yourself thinking on a few occasions, like, this can't possibly have happened. And then you get to the end of the movie and they do the bit where they show you the real footage. And, God, it all happened. This all happened. Like, wow. Believe me, this was one of the first incidents of a televised press conference being called by an armed gunman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is one of the first times that happened. At the center of it all is, say, Bill Skarsgård, who is really firing off on a new level here. And this is, Skarsgård's never been, a slouch. For one thing, he's a Skarsgård. So it kind of goes without saying, the kid's got chops, you know what I mean? But this is him in what I can only describe as Michael Shannon mode. Like very twitchy, unnerving kind of Michael Shannon mode. And it really works for the tension, the vibe. It's all surrounded by this really lavish, very specific 70s period aesthetic. It's all wonderfully realized under the eye of Gus Van Sant, of all people, who apparently at one point, it was a sort of incoming director. He was a replacement director for Werner Herzog. Werner Herzog was going to make this movie with Nicolas Cage starring in it.
Oh, I could see that as well.
Yeah, and do you know what? Actually, I feel like it's better off this way, because if Nicolas Cage is in it, you're a little bit more prepared for how nuts and how gonzo this goes. True. Whereas if it's Bill Skarsgård, you're not quite as prepared for just what bonkers twists and turns this actually really take. I liked it very much. It has sort of that desperate Dog Day Afternoon kind of energy about it. But the thing I came away from it thinking the most about was that Bill Skarsgård performance. I didn't even think really much about Dacre Montgomery, who's the hostage being taken. I'm thinking about that Bill Skarsgård performance, and he is great in this.
Well, if you want to check it out yourself, you can, because Dead Man's Wire is out in cinemas from now. Okay, on to the next movie. Have you ever been to Amsterdam?
I have, and I'm going back in May. So...
I have twice. I absolutely love it. Well, I mean, if anyone's listening who's been to Amsterdam, this might interest you, because this is a drama set in Amsterdam, and that's about all I know. I just want to see all the cinematography of Amsterdam, so I'm hoping there's some in here.
Really? Because, I go to Amsterdam specifically to get away from drama, usually in coffee houses under thick clouds of smoke. That's why I go to Amsterdam. But alas, the characters of our next movie, Midwinter Break, do not. So they are Kieran Hines and Leslie Manville. And they are a Northern Irish couple who've been living in Glasgow since one fateful day in which they were the victims of, an IRA attack in, I think, the 70s. No, sorry, in the 80s, I think. They sort of, ran away, had their family in Glasgow, and kind of lived their lives from there. They've now got an empty nest for the first proper time. And it's causing them to, retreat away from each other. In the case of, the husband, he is retreating more into just listening to his music and drinking his whiskey. She is retreating more into her faith. And one day she decides to give them one more adventure. They need another adventure together. Let's go to Amsterdam. However, unbeknownst to him, she has ulterior motives for this trip that may redefine the rest of their lives. I'm not going to spoil more than that for you, but have a listen. This is the pair of them outlining the trip.
It's little something for both of us.
Amsterdam.
I thought it was time for an adventure.
That's fantastic. Flights, hotel. You've outdone yourself, Mrs. Gilmore.
Start the new year off with a bang.
You better believe it. You and me.
Me and you.
This sounds like a very quaint and wholesome kind of movie, but I'm guessing it's not.
No, it is. No, it really is. And also, it's really calm and sedate and tranquil. And actually, you may well have a jolly old nap in it, kind of a deal. It's one of those. There is drama in there, but it doesn't quite. I mean, it works because of the performances, but narrative, it doesn't work. It's one of those movies that you can very clearly tell is adapted from a novel, very clearly written by a man, because she is written as more or less the villain of this. And you think, there's no way you get that. This was written by a woman. Yeah, she comes across as quite a selfishly written character, even though it's meant to be a kind of selfless kind of idea. It doesn't quite work. And it's one of those that I don't particularly think will even draw in the Tuesday retiree crowds kind of thing at the multiplex. I don't think it's got that kind of allure. Like, Leslie Manville's not exactly a huge box office draw near the Kieran Hines. It's very nice. It's nice, it's sweet, it's a little 3-star time, some great performances. But I think I kind of just felt like I'd come away from an overlong kind of lunch with my grandparents kind of a deal. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I felt with it.
It definitely, I mean, looking at the trailer, which is muted in the background, obviously, it does look very wholesome and, like you say, nice. But it depends what kind of a movie you want, I suppose. If you want nice and a Sunday afternoon while it's raining outside, then I suppose it's for you.
I mean, I was watching it on a screen link, and I'm not going to lie, I was cussing out the Leslie Manville character in my living room.
Oh dear, it's not that great then.
Could be helped.
Well, if you want to check it out yourself, you can make your own mind up because Midwinter Break is out in cinemas already. Right, the next two we're going to look at Arco and Project Hail Mary. Next, we'll see what Van thought, so stay where you are. Hello and welcome back to Off Screen. Two more movies for you then. We're going to look at a French animated movie in a second by the name of Arco. But first of all, Project Hail Mary, which is Ryan Gosling's new movie. And I know nothing about it other than it's sci-fi.
Right, so you don't know the plot of the book, just checking.
Nope.
Right, okay. So the novel, which is a bestseller, was written by Andy Weir. Do you know Andy Weir offhand?
I know the name. I couldn't tell you what he's written or what his style is.
Author of The Martian.
Of course, that's where I've heard it. Yes.
And in between also, I think, Artemis as well. So this is very much kind of his, that is kind of his template. He likes a space movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is very much one that should have some appeal to people who like The Martian. Like, I'm a very big Martian fan, so I couldn't wait to see this, for instance. So, Ryan Gosling is Grace. That's his surname. I think it's Ryland Grace, I think he is. He is an elementary school teacher and like an internationally renowned scientist, right, who's got into teaching. He wakes up on a spaceship on its way out the solar, on its way across the solar system with complete amnesia and a dead crew. And this is sort of like set maybe 30 to 50 years in the future kind of thing. So he has no idea how he got there. He starts to piece his identity back together and learns that he was part of a government research project dealing with the sun dimming. The sun started to dim and die, as did every other star in the galaxy except one, Tau Ceti. And they were going to send an expedition to Tau Ceti to find out why, and also why it's the only sun that's not seemingly been eaten by this new form of microscopic life form called astrophages. So he wakes up, figures out this is his mission, and no sooner as he has sort of reached it, then another spaceship shows up on the same mission. And theirs ain't human. It's an alien spaceship that turns up to do the same thing. And they have had an accident as well, and they have one sole survivor. A space rock lobster, who Ryan Gosling quickly names Rocky. Yeah, see what you did there. Who is literally like a lobster made out of rocks, right? Who has to be inside a bubble because he has a specific atmosphere. They have to put him in like a hamster ball. Yeah. And Grace and Rocky learn how to communicate with one another and set about trying to save their worlds as well as get themselves home. So I've got a clip for you. This is Grace and Rocky learning to communicate and picking the actual voice that the computer is going to use for him.
Why is a school teacher in space? Question.
No.
Don't like that voice.
Can't unhear it, really.
Scary.
Let's try this.
Ooh.
Nope.
Why is a
Nope.
school teacher
No need.
in space?
No need to even continue. Good. Nope.
Why is a school teacher in space? What's so funny? Question.
Why is a school teacher in space?
I mean...
It has charm, but no.
Why is a school teacher in space?
That's not bad.
I like.
All right. And in answer to your question, I have no idea what I'm doing in space. I don't remember.
Oh, I love a good sci-fi, and this is right up my street. I think this has such the potential to be a really good movie.
Yeah, this is actually really sweet in places as well. The relationship between Grace and Rocky, it's very much it's the awkward buddy, man and alien kind of relation, and you really feel it. Funnily enough, I'm reasonably sure Elio did the same thing this last year. This exact same buddy alien concept in Elio. I really like this. I don't think it's got the enduring classic status that The Martian, for instance, enjoys. I think The Martian's a very hard act to follow. So no matter what the next Andy Weir project was, it was never going to be as good as The Martian. But I think this comes as close as anyone possibly could. By virtue of having Gosling in there, basically playing Gosling, you can sort of hear it in the clip, he's leaning into that sort of lovable dimwit persona that he does so well. By virtue of that being so prominent in the film, it's naturally a goofier movie than, for instance, The Martian, which plays, even though it's a funny movie, it's still quite serious. This plays a little bit sillier, but still has the gravitas and the consequences. You've got directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller on this. Lego Movie, Jump Street, Lord and Miller. They are basically gods to me. These two. They are comedic geniuses who were done dirty by Star Wars, effectively. They were fired from the Han Solo movie like 5 or so years back, famously. And then the resulting hatchet job that we got was just awful, and probably still one of the worst movies Ron Howard, the director of The Dark Tower, has his name to. But here, they're finally given chance to sort of cut loose. We get some really inventive stuff. Visually, it's very arresting. It's very interesting. There's a lot of, pardon the pun, but out of this world, kind of stuff. And yeah, I think you'll come away from you'll want a Rocky statue in your home. You'll want a little action figure, something like that. I mean, I'm going to print one. I'm going to 3D print a Rocky at some point. I think you'll really enjoy it, though. I do. And I actually think if you've got a child, I would say from about the age of 10 upwards, who's got vague sci-fi leanings, this is something like do the parent-child kind of trip with. Because it's a 12A. So I think I would definitely do that for a child sort of above the age of 10.
Okay, well, Project Hail Mary in cinemas from now, if you do want to go and check it out. Right, next then, let's move on to Arco. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is a French hand-drawn animation, it says here.
Yeah, I mean, well, what you and I would describe as, traditional animation. Where they used to have to actually draw them with pens.
Yeah.
And then flip the pages. And that old style. Yeah, that old chestnut.
It's giving me He-Man vibes with the way that it's kind of portrayed.
Well, it's so first of all, this was one of the nominees for Best Animated Feature this year. This was one of the nominees that lost, of course, to K-pop Demon Hunters, which stop me if anyone predicted that. Anyway, so this is very reminiscent of the very popular and sort of popular house style of French animation in the late 80s. I would say, if you're old enough to remember the era of, for instance, Ulysses 31, somewhere between that on one end of the spectrum, and Diplodocus, for instance, on the other. I'm aware that I'm going very niche talking about late 80s French animation right now, but if you get that reference, you'll know what I'm describing, with a slight infusion of a bit of Ghibli. There's some very obvious anime influences in there. Arco is a sort of 10, maybe 11-year-old boy in the future. He lives in the future in a sky castle house, because humanity lives on these giant pods that are in the clouds because of environmental catastrophe or whatever. And humanity, I think it's by the year 4000, roughly, something like that. They also have the ability to put on these suits that allow them to fly, during which they cast rainbows behind them, explaining where rainbows come from, and travel through time so that they can experience humanity through its eras. However, you're not allowed to do this until you're 12 years old. Arco is the impatient type, sneaks out one night in his sister's suit, and finds himself accidentally stranded in, I think it's the year 2070. Teams up with a young girl to find the damaged and missing piece of his suit so that he can get home, whilst they are pursued by 3 conspiracy theorist bandits who want the technology for themselves. It's all very E.T., very Amblin, that kind of thing, like the kids running from the adults through the suburban neighborhood. But all animated. It is being released in an English dub in this country, so it's got in everywhere outside of Europe, and in the UK. So it's got like a US celebrity voice cast that, for instance, includes Mark Ruffalo, Natalie Portman, Will Ferrell, and Andy Samberg. For instance, some of whom you may hear in this clip.
Are you all right?
What's your name?
Arco. What year is it? It's 2075. Tell me where you're from. I can't.
Little boys don't just fall from the sky. It's as if he didn't exist.
Have you seen anything strange in the woods?
I just saw a rainbow. What's it like? No one should know the future. Ever.
We don't often get French animated movies dubbed by celebrities over here. Why this one?
I mean, it was a very well-received movie, and I think, to be honest, they'd anticipated that, based on the acclaim they were getting early on, that this was going to do the full awards run. So why not bolster it for international audiences? To be honest with you, I'm always initially disappointed when it's the English language dub. Like there are exceptions. I did watch The Raid when I arranged for you to get a copy of The Raid with the English dub. I did watch that version myself. My girlfriend at the time hadn't seen it, and I thought, okay, just any old excuse to watch it. And actually, that one didn't go badly. So some dubs can work, but it's always obviously better to get the subbed version. This one I actually thought did work, and I really like this film. I think it's a really lovely film. It's obviously it's not got the best of luck in the Oscars because of what it was going up against, but I do think it's a really sweet, like I say, one for the Amblin crowd. Like a real throwback. We've not seen anything quite like this since maybe Super 8 would be the one to say. Like Super 8 was 2011. Like a proper old school Amblin.
Was it that long ago?
Kids in the suburbs, on their bikes, kind of thing, running from the men in black in the police cars through the woods to get not in this case, not alien, but time traveler home. Do you know, I'm all for that. I mean, I know the reason we haven't seen anything like that recently is because it's gone to streaming with Stranger Things and stuff like that. But to see a proper good old fashioned, film version of that, and especially one that's animated to this level. Because it's a gorgeous film, and as a work of science fiction as well, there's some actually really great ideas in it. There's some really great concepts and world building within this that I would have I could have sat through another half hour of the movie that was just exploring this world of 2075 or whatever it is, where people have retractable domes that can cover their homes from acid rain and fires and things like that. Really well thought out, but actually a really touching film. And also, I will say, do you know when I said it was an old-fashioned Amblin style film?
Yeah.
Right. You remember when we were kids, and movies, like kids' movies in particular, used to have a real nasty streak. Like every now and again, they'd be real nasty. You know what I mean? This pulls one. This pulls one of those things, like towards the end, pulls a pivot that, honestly, we were all looking at each other like, what? This is dark. What? Wow. Like, he caused some damage. Wow, like real dark, like consequential stuff that the movie doesn't want to dwell on. You're like, yeah, maybe best not. Like it's that, and I have to respect the hell out of them for doing that because they just don't do that in movies anymore.
Well, if you want to go and see Arco yourself, you can, as it's dubbed in English as well. It's in cinemas from now. Right, we got one movie left. It's called The Good Boy. It's a psychological thriller, and I'm really looking forward to finding out what it's about. We'll find out with Van in just a sec.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney Plus.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
Gary the Snake. And your last name? The Snake.
Dream Team. New habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home. Zootopia 2, now available on Disney Plus, rated PG. And right now you can get Disney Plus and Hulu for just $4.99 a month for 3 months with a special limited time offer. Ends March 24th. After 3 months, plan auto renews at $12.99 a month. Terms apply.
Hello and welcome back for one last ride this week on Off Screen. We are going to dive into the movie called The Good Boy. It's out in cinemas from now. It's a psychological thriller, and if I'm honest, it looks really good, but that's up to Van to tell us.
And I'm happy to be able to tell you that, yeah, I really loved this. Right, okay. I'm going to stress that I knew nothing about this when I went in.
Fair.
Didn't know a thing. And it wasn't helped by the fact that it was late in the game when they changed the title of this movie to The Good Boy. It was previously known as Heel, like what you'd command to a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Heel. Right. It stars Stephen Graham. Obviously,
yes.
riding high at the moment, obviously, on the back of Adolescence. And I think before that was riding high off the back of Boiling Point. Like, Stephen Graham just has one of these careers where I think about every 18 months to 2 years, he just lands on a project that's just brilliant. And that he's just brilliant in. But for some reason, he's not like an A-lister star, which I don't quite get. So, the basic story here is you have... I think he's meant to be 19 years old, sort of wayward, chavvy, incel, happy slapping, I'm not sure what the term you'd, Asbo kid, who is rendered unconscious one night whilst, inebriated on the streets after a club, and wakes up to find himself chained up in a basement of a family home. Said family being Stephen Graham as dad, Andrea Riseborough as shell-shocked mum, and there is a sort of 10-year-old son who they affectionately call Sunshine. It transpires that what's happened here is that this family has suffered the death of one of their children and have decided to seek a replacement. And for reasons that we at least don't initially know, the idea here is to take someone that no one can miss, which traditionally would be, a quote-unquote bad person, and deprogram them into someone slightly more compliant and all about the good. And this includes, literally chaining them to the wall by the neck with literally a small mattress, a pee bucket, opposite a television that plays nothing but home-recorded PSAs and footage of your own misdeeds, like the kid's tweets, his TikToks and things like that, in which he, burns people in the face with cigarettes and throws acid on people and stuff like that. And it's all presented as a sort of, what if modern-day, real-world Clockwork Orange? So, I'll play a little sizzle. Have a listen. This is The Good Boy.
It's quite impressive, really, how you've managed to aimlessly float through your whole life completely unnoticed.
You're scared, aren't you?
Would you think all of this is funny? This is real life.
You're already dead, you scum!
We treat each other with respect.
Bad boy! Bad boy! Bad boy! Bad boy! Bad boy!
I would like to apologise for what I did to you. I promise not to do it again.
Good boy.
Do you know what? I think I watched the trailer. Stephen Graham plays a great psycho, doesn't he?
But he's not. The thing is, he's not really a psycho. There's a lot of ways to come at this movie, and that's what makes it so interesting and compelling. I'll be honest with you, the first, because the POV character, the way into the story is through the abducted, dealer, for lack of a better term. I don't know if it's actually explicitly stated that he is a dealer, but I think he is. So we come into the story through him. The first 5 minutes kind of follow him, just going through his life being the worst person ever. And then, of course, incident, boom, rendered unconscious, wakes up there. And whilst I thought the movie, because I knew nothing of the movie, whilst the movie was doing that, initially I thought, oh God, is this the movie? I don't know if I can sit through, 100 odd minutes of this. no, this is a bit much. And then, of course, it's like, boom, unconscious, wakes up in Stephen Graham's house. And the first thing I'm thinking is, oh boy, here we are, bring it on.
Yeah, that's where it steps up.
Yeah, and once you are in there, oh wow, it is, honestly, it's, the only thing I can describe it as, it's just like, it's like watching a great football player just play a blinding game.
Good.
Just play it, because for most of the film, it's usually just two characters in a room. Or, you know, the room changes and the combination of characters changes. And everybody is on form here. Like, I think it's Anson Boone who plays the sort of abducted one as well. I mean, even once you get past the sort of very parodic first 5 minutes, when he actually is in the Clockwork Orange trap, actually you see something quite interesting there. And it is quite an interesting performance, watching him deconstruct this very toxic, horrible, you know, young man. But Graham is just bouncing all across the pitch, just taking every shot he can get, and they all hit. Every single... I mean, it seems disappointing to have Andrea Riseborough in here. Andrea Riseborough usually acts the socks off anyone in a film, but you're having such a good time with Stephen Graham, you don't care that she's there.
Wow.
That's really unfortunate for her, but great for, you know, the film, in a sense. I was really taken by it. Bit of Misery, bit of Clockwork Orange, you know, bit of Death and the Maiden. It has just these little bits that I think are just presented in this way that just feels unique and new and quite distinctly and individually twisted. And I loved it. I think this is something people are going to really, you know, talk about. When they see it, this will be real water cooler stuff. I don't think it will find an audience in cinemas. Like, I think it's the kind of thing that's probably going to hit at its peak when it hits either Netflix, the streaming lot, or Film 4 for, you know, your Freeview thing. And I think when those two things intersect, this will be where you will see the clips of this plastered all over TikTok. Like, it will be one of those.
And the thing is, Stephen Graham's got a lot of fans that he's accumulated over like you say, over the years of doing these kind of massive projects that have just worked out so well for him. So once he's on the promo trail for this, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, why are they not dialing up the marketing for this? Why have you not got Stephen Graham everywhere talking this up? Because people would pay attention. Also, how weird is it that it's 26 years this year since Stephen Graham was in Snatch?
Is it really 26?
26 years since he was Tommy in Snatch.
God.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, it's weird to think we've been watching Statham for 27 28 years. But yeah, it's been 26 years since Stephen Graham.
There's not a job Statham hasn't done yet.
No, he let the other guy be the bricklayer.
Yeah,
but yeah,
amazing. Well, I mean, it's on my list. I mean, I'm a big fan of Stephen Graham. I think he's great, and from what you said, this looks like a really good movie.
You'll love it. You will absolutely love this. This is one that. This is just a great, like, sort of date movie, I would say. It has kind of everything, but also, again, so I'd play the old classic, very Warden song, but, you know, this is what we want of our movies. We want just do an original movie. You know, it doesn't have to be the big end of the world thing. Just give us good actors, give us an interesting story, give us interesting characters, and dial up that suspense and drama. This is what cinema used to be. And you definitely feel it when you watch The Good Boy.
There is clearly hunger for it, so absolutely. The Good Boy, out in cinemas from now. Before we finish this week, let's have a quick nosy towards what we've got coming up next week. Orwell 2 + 2 = 5.
No, don't roll off the tongue, that one, does it? Orwell 2 + 2 = 5.
Not really.
No, so this one is this is a documentary about the continuing present-day relevance of the works of George Orwell. I think it's narrated by Damian Lewis as well. Let me say, I'm always interested in Orwell stuff, so I'm looking forward to that. We have also got Two Prosecutors, which I believe is a Russian thriller. Again, movies that we used to get a lot of this is the kind of stuff Tom Cruise used to star in.
Yeah.
You know, where he was a lawyer and he uncovered some corruption, and then they would send people to try and kill him, and he'd run down an alleyway from a car. You know, remember when movies were that? Oh, I missed that. But yeah, so they are still getting made in Soviet Russia, incidentally. Splitsville, a movie about swinging with Dakota Johnson. What's not to love? Looking forward to that. The Magic Faraway Tree, based on the Enid Blyton novel.
No, I thought that was a sequel to Shawshank Redemption.
The Magic Faraway Tree. No, I don't think it was. No, where was the tree? The tree was in Maine. The place in Mexico was Zihuatanejo.
I've always wanted to know where the tree is, or was.
I think he says it's in Maine. I'll find out for you. The tree is in Maine.
Okay.
I believe we are told it's in Maine. But, yeah, he says, I trust you remember the name of the town, Zihuatanejo. But, so Enid Blyton adaptation, The Magic Faraway Tree, next week, which I don't know an awful lot about, although it stars Nicola Coughlan from Bridgerton. Which piques my interest. I like a bit of Nicola Coughlan, so we'll see what comes of that. And last but certainly by no means least, I think you asked me about this, right? It's called They Will Kill You. Did you? I think it was you that asked me a while back. What's They Will Kill You?
Oh,
and I think I told you it's basically The Raid. It's basically The Raid with Zazie Beetz. Yeah. So we've got that to look forward to next week. You know how I feel about The Raid, so bring it on, baby. You know.
I hope that doesn't let you down, Van, and you'll be forcing me to watch that one for 6 years as well.
It's a hard concept to get wrong, The Raid. Look, building full of bad guys, cop/good guys stuck in the middle. That's a hard concept to mess up.
Yeah, true. Very true. Let's hope this one doesn't let us down, and we'll find out what Van thought to They Will Kill You next week, of course. But that is all we have time for this week on Off Screen. We will be back next week. Until then, I've been Adam Ball.
I've been Van Connor. Keep it cinematic, and we shall return.